Okay, I'm still working on my throttle. Here's what I've come up with. I'm bending my arm here. And is what I'm doing is I'm just looking at which way it turns and which way it needs to bend. And then I'm putting slight bends in it here and there to accommodate for where places it needs to go. And I learned this from a friend of mine also. These little bends, once you get them right, will point right to that control surface. And it's pretty easy to do to get used to it. You just keep bending until you get it to lay just right. And you kind of try to see which way it needs to go to do what it needs to do. And of course not hit anything. Too much there, yeah, maybe. And of course I want to make sure it still clears the motor and completely closed. I'm going to have to bend that down. This is pretty soft stuff, so it's real easy to go a little too far. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bend that up. Okay, and then I'm going to bend that over. And then I'm going to bend that down. Okay. I'm getting really close there. You can also about do this with your hand.
Country 1029 the Z. If you ever stop loving me, Montgomery Ginger right there up on the way.
If you can just take your finger
also, we're going to take a look at your
and push on a spot and make it bend pretty easy.
That dial tuned right here.
I'm getting really close.
Right now it's just the
bend that I need. I'm going to go ahead and snap that on there. Take a pair of hemostats and open it up. And that's one of these little nylon clevises, which I've said several times that I really don't like them that much, but I don't know why. They're really easy to use and they're real durable. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my throttle and I'm going to go all the way closed, and then I'm going to go all the way open, and I'm going to see if there's any problem at all with that movement or anything, and I don't see any. It seems to be perfect. The only problem is that leans over a little bit, and I can actually bend this little throttle linkage just a small amount. And I can actually even put a small washer in this. I believe I can turn this clevis just a hair to make it lay just right. I'm going to get 2 pairs of pliers. On this stuff, if you take your time, you can really get it just perfect. You can really get it to just lay just exactly the way you want it to lay. It takes it a little bit of time to do it. Okay, there it is. Okay, now I'd like to have a little washer. I'd like to have a little washer on that just to keep it from vibrating. To get my angle right. I'm getting awful close there. I'd like to have a little small washer. I'll see what I have. A very small little washer. I might have one that'll go right in there. Yeah, it looks like I do. I'm going to go ahead and pull my fuel line back here again. I tightened that up earlier and I put a little bit of silicone on it. I tightened it pretty tight in case that was going to be the right condition. And it actually looks like it is. It doesn't usually work that easy, but sometimes it does. I'm going to go ahead and pop this loose, and I'm going to try to fit a little bitty washer in there just to hold it right where I want to hold it. Maybe too much, and may not. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Takes a little bit of the slack out of it to where it won't vibrate. It's exactly what I had in mind.
New music first.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull my PCQ line up.
There ain't nothing that can start a fire, break down walls, lift you higher.
Okay.
While you sing along, or when you want to sing.
I'm going to check my full range of motion, and that's exactly what I had in mind. Exactly. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and hook my throttle up to my receiver, and get an idea if my servo goes the right direction and how much throw it has and so on. Now I haven't tightened my screw lock inside my fuselage. I haven't tightened it yet. So I turn my receiver on, and then I turn my radio on, and oh, I better plug my battery in. That might help. There it is. Okay. Okay. Now I don't have my throttle hooked up yet. Let me see what channel that's going to be on. And like I said, you just go into show subtrim or anything and look and see what channel it's supposed to be on. It's on channel 3. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and plug my throttle servo, which is right here. And I'm going to plug it into channel 3. A lot of times I go through and straighten these wires up a little bit when I get done and thread them through exactly the way I want them. Okay, now I'm going to look and see. All the way open. It's actually all the way closed. Maybe all the way open. Okay, so I need to go ahead and reverse my throttle servo. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and go back in here and try to 90-degree my horn. Actually, level pressure on it. Shouldn't have done that. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and try to set my horn on there at 90 degrees. Close as I can get to it. Okay, that's completely closed.
The Ozarks Best Country, 1029 The Z.
And that'll be completely open.
Made Love Songs, Joel Krause right there. Miles Larry in the studio with you on a Monday afternoon.
So I'm going to go ahead and go to completely closed.
Let's take a look at your...
Then I'm going to take my screw from my screw lock. I'm going to go ahead and cut my excess piece of my control rod off. I can find my snippers. There they are over there. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off.
Begin at 7 a.m. For Johnson Manufacturing.
Right now I don't have the have it really positioned here where you can see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm just cutting the part that protrudes into my fuselage off of my control rod because I've got far more than I need, and I'm holding on to the back side of it with a pair of hemostats. That way it won't shoot down in there and hit something, because that stuff really flies off. Okay, now I've got my throttle all the way down on my radio. I haven't touched any of my trims on my throttle or anything, so that shouldn't be a problem. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this little bolt out of my screw lock, the little setting bolt, and I'm going to go ahead and put Loctite on it, because I'm getting pretty close to the setting I need.
Want to go to Vegas with Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan?
And I'm going to have to find the right size.
Harrison Battery and Tire, the Ozarks' best country.
Allen wrench.
To the ACM Awards at the MGM Grand Hotel. Airfare, hotel accommodations,
There it is.
and 2 tickets to the award show
Okay.
all included. Brought to you in part by
Fuse and Talk of the Town.
So I'm going to go ahead and put a little Loctite on that.
Kimberly City, Missouri.
You won't be dreading Monday morning on Sunday, April 6th. You'll be getting your country on in Vegas, thanks to Ozark Shooters, Harrison Tire and Battery, and the station who knows what happens in Vegas.
You stole a police car. We didn't steal anything.
And I'm actually going to grab the little square edges of my
Are you ready for the
screw
ice
lock
and
with
snow?
a pair of
Ozark roads are
hemostats,
fun to
so I can
drive,
really
but
hold
can
on
be
to it.
downright dangerous in the winter.
And then I'm going to go ahead and try to start that. And this is kind of hard to do down in the fuselage.
For your truck. The tire that
sometimes I
invented
do
the
it with my
all-terrain
Allen
category,
wrench.
setting the standard for
This
on
one's
and
kinda hard to
off-road
reach.
performance. Steve, Justin, and the guys at
Actually
Lakeside
got it
Tire and
started.
Wheel offer professional, courteous service.
But anyway, I got my throttle all the way
Hidden charges or fees.
shut.
Get your beat up good
I got my
tires
throttle all the
at
way down on my
Lakeside Tire and
radio.
Wheel on Mount Branson. Exceptional
And I'm gonna go
service.
ahead and tighten up my screw lock. Now I haven't glued my little holders yet that hold my outer sheath, and I'm not going to glue them yet. I'll glue them once I get completely done here. Anyway, I tightened that up really good. Yeah, I really put a tighten on that. That's got to hold that control rod, and I tightened it pretty good. And you can get by with quite a bit, as long as you're holding your edges of your screw lock, and
These
you
days,
can get by
many
with
say
quite a
they are
bit.
ready to
You can
make
really put a
home.
cinch
At
on it, because
Table
I
Rock
don't want that to
Community
ever
Bank,
come
we don't
loose.
talk about loan money, we're
Okay,
doing
I
it.
got a pretty good
At
cinch on it.
TRCB, we believe
Now
that
let's
personal
see here.
character is just as important
And
as
more than
collateral
likely,
and
this will be
loan
more
to
than I need.
Hi, I'm Larry Hurst, president.
But I'm
of
going to
Table
go
Rock
ahead and
Community
look
Bank
at
in
it
Kimberly
in my
City.
barrel of my
Whatever
carburetor, and I'm going to
you
see
need, we're ready to help.
how it
Log
works.
on to trcbank.com or call today. Table Rock Community Bank, your bank, our community.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Wow,
Dental Creations on the square in Harrison.
it works perfectly. It doesn't even,
We just come outside. Dr. McCaskey provides.
you listen to your servo to hear if it hums. You see if I need to sub-trim it a little bit. And I don't even,
By a real competent staff of people that will be there.
it's not even making my servo hum. I can go all the way to close, and then I can go all the way to open. And it's perfect. I've never had one come out that good. I really haven't. Okay, so that's fine. That's done. I've got to go ahead and go back and glue all my pieces. Let me shut my airplane off.
People had gone up to the rooftops to escape.
Shut my radio off.
Talk about intense moments. We have to lure the guys online some 30 feet down.
This is where
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue my little pieces.
It took steady nerves and steady.
First off, I'm going to put a little glue around this. I'm going to wick that in
I couldn't believe it.
right around this little
What could be better
piece.
than serving the people of my hometown?
In the National Guard,
Okay.
you serve your community.
Actually used a little more than I normally do.
You work or attend college.
Won't hurt
In return,
anything.
gain
And then I'm going to go in
skills
here.
career,
and I'll
receive
put a little bit
benefits
inside.
that can help you pay for college.
And then I'm going to put a little bit around it where it touches the wood.
At NationalGuard.com.
And then I've got a block here.
Sponsored by the Arkansas
I'm going to go ahead and wick a little bit around it.
Association and the station.
There's a little piece I showed you earlier.
Your 102.9 Z weather brought to you by After Midnight on the Ozarks.
Okay, and then I've got a secondary piece here.
For After Midnight.
And now that I got my push rod in, I can see right where it needs to go.
Every morning from midnight to 6 a.m. Start your day with After
So I'm
Midnight.
going to go ahead and wick a little CA in.
102.9 The Z.
Right where I want it to hold.
Sunny this afternoon, but very
I might have to hold it in
High
place for a
25
second.
and fair and frigid tonight, a low of 12. Mostly sunny tomorrow.
Takes
The
very
afternoon,
little,
Not as cold, a high of 38.
When you're doing it this way, it doesn't really take much.
High Wednesday up to
I can
about
go over these with a little
43
bit of
I'm
medium, or
meteorologist Dr.
even thick later.
On the Ozarks best country.
To hold these little holders in place.
Your 1029 The Z radar.
That's enough for right now.
Don't miss the midday cafe.
And I'll let that dry for a little bit, and I can go over them.
Fresh and tasty country music for your lunch hour. Right here on the Ozarks Best Country.
Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my screw in my servo horn, because I'm done with that.
We drove right past that no trespassing sign. We sat on the tailgate and watched the planes take off. We thought we'd had all night, there was no need to rush. That's when those cops came pulling up. And I thought, man, ain't this some shit? Your dad's gonna kill me. But if I survive tonight, I wouldn't change one thing. Baby, I know it sounds crazy, but there was something about the way the blue.
Okay, there it is. That's my throttle. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back.
For your support.
Okay, getting ready to start back
And to serve you at the highest level, we've consolidated our offices to East
on
Stevenson.
my
We're ready
Mac
to work
Chapman
on your next
Eagle
project.
580.
At Gecko Graphics, we understand marketing and how to make it work for you. We're bigger. We're better.
All right,
We're
so
working for you at Gecko
I did my
Graphics on East Stevenson and Harrison.
my throttle
We'll work
linkage
for you
and
today.
everything earlier.
Gecko
That turned out
Graphics,
real
the
well.
Gecko
I got that
Graphics.
done. I am going to.
Runners looking
See,
for
I
a
really
good
got
run.
it.
The Eureka Springs, Arkansas
Perfect.
Rotary presents the 32nd
Okay.
Annual Victorian Classic.
So now I need to go ahead and I need to remove my the muffler screws. I just put it on earlier to look at it, and I didn't even tighten it all the way up. I just run it up snug, but
online registration
I'm going to show you.
For more
I'm going to go ahead and
information,
use my little extension plate that I have for
Victorian
that.
Classic. Proceeds benefit the Merlin Foundation, investing in the future, helping children today.
Will you hurry up already?
Should we get French cut?
I've had some mufflers come off on other models. So is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that up temporary. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of denatured alcohol.
How do you know?
And
Who said? I don't know. Well, the lizard.
the reason I do that is to get any oil off of anything, because I'm going to use a little bit of my automotive silicone. And I said earlier you can use regular silicone also, but because it'll handle the heat. I'm going to use my automotive high temp silicone, but I'm going to take my little screws and I'm going to clean them off real good with denatured alcohol to get the oil off of them.
Well, that's Pam. She's
The reason I'm doing that is so the silicone will stick to it.
For all your insurance solutions.
Even though silicone works really well,
They're always there for you.
almost nothing sticks to oil.
Neighbors Mill Bakery
And
and
it would almost work anyway, but a little bit of denatured alcohol, and I put it on the threads, on the screws, and I put it down in the threads here a little bit.
Like the whole grains we mill.
That will
on site.
ensure,
You'll always find fresh, unique items
that will
perfect
really
for enjoying
ensure
with
that
friends and
that
family.
silicone
Come, break bread with
and
neighbors.
do what it's
Neighbors
supposed to
Mill
do.
Bakery and Cafe, Highway 65 North in Harrison. Visit us today or call
Yeah, I
741
don't believe I need it here to
6455.
seal.
That's 741 no.
I really don't believe I've got any
Older, but you don't have to look
problem
like it.
sealing there.
Solutions offers Botox treatments to get rid of
OS Engines really
and Juvederm to
do a very good job on their machine work. So they don't really require, unless you damage the faces, they don't require any gaskets because their machine work is so good.
Just a little help.
Anyway, with that done, clean that off. I'm going to grab my automotive type silicone. I'm going to put just a little bit on each bolt here.
1029 The Z. Weather brought to you by SKD Detailing in Harrison.
Believe it or not, springtime is just around the corner, and there's no better time to come into SKD Detailing and get your car detailed inside and out. SKD Detailing has been voted best of the best detail shop for Harrison for 5 years
It
in a row.
won't take very
SKD
much.
Detailing in Harrison.
It'll be sunny this afternoon, but very cold.
I'm going to go ahead and slide my...
Fair and frigid tonight. The low
I'm
12.
going to pay attention to
Mostly
which
sunny
side has
tomorrow.
been
In the
against
afternoon, not as cold. The high
the engine.
38. Then
in the
clouds
past.
for Wednesday, but
It's that side right there.
Wednesday up to about 48
Since
degrees.
it's been that way, it's going to actually make a better seal that way.
Just off to Joe
So I'm going to hold it up there and I'm going to start threading them in.
Country 1029 The Z.
Your 1029 The Z radar.
And if I'd have used a very large amount, it would be it'd push out everywhere.
1 p.m. every weekday, serving up hot, fresh, and tasty country music for your lunch
There it
hour.
goes.
Right here on the Ozarks Best Country, 1029 The Z.
Thank you and good evening. In for Skylar Skidmore, I'm Luke Treat. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 11 degrees. News this hour brought to you by North Arkansas Regional Medical Center of
And like I
Harrison.
said earlier, I will need to take some little tubing and extend these down past my
6 inches of snow
my
and ice
cow.
over the Branson area. Meteorologists for the National Weather Service
Extend them just past the bottom of my cow, which that's very
and also
easy.
confirms the thunder snow
I'll just
and
get
thunder
some vinyl
sleet
tubing or
phenomenon.
something.
National Weather Service received some snow and sleet combined measurements in the Tri-Lakes area ranging from 4 to 6 inches, fairly widespread.
Okay, since I'm putting it on permanently this time, I'm going to go ahead and cinch them up, but again, it doesn't take very much pressure. Small hardware, it's very easy to strip.
Kramer also says
So you gotta be real
Northeast
careful.
Oklahoma and the Missouri-Arkansas state line were hit hardest.
Not to over tighten this stuff, and especially these. If you strip these, you're in trouble.
Homes on the same property on Highway N near Mountain Grove. 4 Mountain Grove residents faced multiple charges after the Wright County Sheriff's
there it
Office
is.
executed a property raid over the weekend. Sheriff Glenn Wright says he's never seen so many labs in one location, saying it was really dangerous being in there. It could have easily exploded with all the chemicals. The sheriff's office arrested 49-year-old Alan Gasperson, 24-year-old Zachariah Lambert, 25-year-old Amber Mayberry, and 20-year-old.
Now I'm finding a couple little
all face various multiple drug charges.
burrs.
Attempt to
And
manufacture
I didn't cut this muffler off, but somebody evidently did at one time, probably before I got it. But it's got some little burrs on this edge, and I'm looking for my sanding block. Should be right here somewhere. Here it is. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take those burrs off, because I'm going to be trying to slide some tubing up on it later. And I don't want those burrs on there to catch my tubing and make it where it won't slide up.
And district competition
So this
respectively.
being aluminum is very easy
Arkansas taking place over the weekend.
to sand the burrs.
By going to our website at 1029thez.com. I'm Scott Hollywood Sports on 1029thez.
Sports was
Okay.
brought to you by First National Bank of North Arkansas.
There you go. It's nice and smooth. That'll work good. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on my fuel lines. And my first one is this one right here, which goes to my muffler. And I'm going to see what it would take to lay it right there. And like I say, I cut my lines long, and I go back and I cut them off to size. And I waste a little bit of line that way. I usually end up using it for my little safety keepers that I use on my
patients and their families can
clevises, so it doesn't really matter. It makes it awful easy at this point.
Medical Center is among the very best in the nation. And
You
the
can just
RNC, the best in care.
fine tune them, and you don't ever have to worry about them being too short.
If you don't know what a grinder pump is,
Okay, there's
you either
that
don't
one
have
now.
one, or yours has
My
it
fill
for
line
pump
is actually going to
access
hang
to
out the
LJ
bottom.
Plumbing Supply. We have Liberty
And
grinder
my
pumps for
carburetor
residential
line, if
commercial
you'll
use.
remember,
Whether
is the
you're
one on the
replacing an
left.
existing grinder pump or
I'm gonna go ahead and
customizing the new
pull
sewer
my tape
system,
off.
the Liberty Omnivore has more cuts per revolution.
And I'm going to figure out my carburetor links here.
The E1.
And it
Liberty
is
pumps
right
come with a 3-year warranty or a 5-year option for
there.
home or shopping center.
It'll be a
Ask
very
your plumber
short
for a
little
Liberty
guy.
grinder pump at L&J Plumbing Supply, Branson and Stone County.
1029 The Z.
Go ahead and cut it. Try to cut these off fairly square. It'll make them go up on whatever you put them on a lot easier and a lot better, more secure. Okay, there's my fuel into my carburetor. Now that one actually lays against the back of the engine, and if I can cut it off a little bit and make it to where it doesn't lay on the back of the engine, in time that will actually vibrate and wear through that hose. So I'm going to make it a little shorter to where it won't touch the back of the engine. Now, this silicone tubing is really tough, and it lasts a long time, if it's up against something. But in time, vibration will make a hole in it. And when it does, your engine won't run very well. It's really common in low models to have that problem. So, with just a little bit shorter line, I've got some clearance where it's not touching anything. Make sure. Actually, I need to cut just a little bit more off. I almost got it. But it's what it'll do, it'll make it lay perfectly without touching anything. And so it won't ever wear through it. And there it is. It's actually still touching a screw head. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten it even more. Now if I get it too short, I'll have to replace the line, which I can get to on this model. It probably wouldn't be a problem. Okay, there it is. Not touching anything, plenty of room. Now this other line is actually going to be my fill. And it's the one that my little fuel dot's going to go into, and I really don't even know where I want to put this yet. I am going to go ahead and get a zip tie and put right here to my motor mount. To kind of hold this stuff in place. Now, again, if it's too tight, it will. Let's see, I can do this. Got this little hole here in the motor mount that's perfect size for a little zip tie. And I'll just put my zip tie in it, and I'll tie my line just a little bit to the side to kind of hold it in place. But realize that even this in time could easily wear through your lines. So don't tie it very tight or anything. Just kind of to hold them in place so they don't slap around too much. Okay, there that is. I'll actually wear a little less, but go ahead and put just a little bit of pressure on them. Okay, there it is. Now, I'm not sure exactly where my fill line is going to go, but I do know it doesn't need to go much past there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and leave plenty of length on it. And I'm going to go ahead and stick my fuel dot in it. And for the fun of it, because I can. Here's the fuel dot. Just do a little aluminum piece. W line, most of you guys know what it is. So I'll go ahead and put that on there. Alright. Now, I will probably move on to mounting my switch and receiver, and then I will come back to the cow here in a minute. I need to go ahead and start cleaning up my area. I'm getting a lot of tools here. I don't hardly have room to work. I've got so much stuff laying out here. Happens pretty fast. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my work area a little bit. Okay, just a second, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm actually going to mount up a switch. I don't usually use these little small ones. I got a whole bag of them. They're actually fine for 5, probably almost 7 amp, about like the other ones I'm using. But I always use the one with the charge jacks. So then I'm going to start using these batteries here. When I want to charge these, I just pull one of these leads out, and I've got 2 of them, and then this lead, and I can just charge them. So I'm not going to use my charge leads on my switches anymore. So this actually has a spot to mount one of these small switches. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that, and I hardly ever use these small switches. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out and mount the switch. As I've said in the past, these are better than to have mounted them with the on position backwards. That way if you were to hit a bird or something, it wouldn't shut it off. So you want the on position backwards. And I'm going to see if I can go ahead and put this switch in. It's real handy that they put a place for these switches, but they just put a place for the smaller switches, and I don't hardly ever use the smaller switches. And also, I checked my plate that I made to hold my fuel tank, and I put a little bit more glue on this back side. It's very strong, and I will go ahead and bolt it in here in a minute to hold my fuel tank forward the way it's supposed to be, and also still make it removable. So if I ever want to remove it, I can very easily. So I'm paying attention to which side is on, because once you get this little plate off, you won't know. And I cut my little slot there that they give you. I will see here in a minute if it's the right size.
I hear the music play, just like it was yesterday. I wish that I could hold that
I believe it is the right size. Great. Go ahead and thread them in a little bit. I could thread them through the wood, that way they'll be in the position to have my switch housing. I get it set back there. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide my switch up against the back side there. See if I can get them started.
south of me. Another place, another time, girl, I can't get it off my mind. Feeling in my heart that's very deep. She's the one that got away, the one I think about today. Like I realize that I'm
There you go. One off switch. Handy, handy. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in my pin that goes into my Y harness here. It'll be right here. And I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink on it. I'm using a little longer Y harness than I need. It really won't hurt anything.
South of me, Robbie Johnson right there. What a great song.
I just didn't want to take the time to make one. I had that one laying there. I thought, what the heck.
24 degrees outside. 20 after 5. Hey, are you looking for a
go ahead and heat my heat shrink up on it.
Drive 5 or 10 minutes a day. Back to work Mondays. And 10 minutes is a free service to help you find a career you are looking for. You never pay for 10 minutes for finding you a job. All fees are paid by the employer. Serving Harrison, Berryville, Branson, Mount Hill, Marshall, and all places in between. PinMac has access to all types of jobs. Their goal is to find you a career you have been looking for.
Now I need to go ahead and do this other one there.
PinMac has the following openings available
Make
now.
sure it's
Production
not
worker,
in a
engineers,
fair position.
human resource assistant, accounting assistant, quality control.
And this is the one that goes to my
assistant, cashiers, and purchasing assistant.
my servo that actually goes into my 6th channel, because like I said, a lot of receivers, they don't give a complete separate
will stay open extended hours
place to put your
so go check that out. They're gonna have drawings all day for prizes. Great
battery.
Stop by.
You just have to Y into a channel, and that's the way a lot of them are.
And a great new career, that is PinMac. They have 2 locations, 106 West Industrial Park Road in Harrison.
I believe I will have to make
870-743-3007. That number again is 870-743-3007.
No, I'm gonna have to make extensions.
And the second location is 180 Mall
Into
Road.
my wings.
Oh, and Hollister.
I got some small extensions there, but I really hate to have to plug them into my receiver every time. I like having the leads hanging out so I can just plug them up.
That is PinMac sponsoring your drive at 5 today. It's back to
I
work.
may have to make some leads after
On
all.
the radio, got Compass, Radio and Bones, giving St. Joe, Arkansas, and the rest of the Ozarks the best country. 102.9 The V.
This show was brought to you by Harrison Battery and Tire. Visit Harrison Battery and Tire for all your battery and tire needs. Batteries for cell phones, computers, emergency lighting, vehicles, and so much more. If you have a problem, Harrison Battery and Tire is there to help you. Harrison Battery and Tire.
Okay, there, that's secure.
Table rock
Set
is
my
running 0 units.
little barrel deal over there. My little heat gun. Okay, now I'm going to try to figure out
Lake is running 0 units. The current lake
where to mount my battery and stuff. And of course my battery will plug into this one right here.
Bull Shoals is running 2 units. Current lake level is 6.5.
I will use a safety clip on it because I'll be taking it on and off sometimes when I'm charging it.
Is running 0 units.
So I'll go ahead and use one of these safety clips on it, which I need to get a few more of these little things.
552. Area lake level and dam reports brought to you by Harrison Battery and Tire on Main Street in Harrison.
Allow us a little demonstration to explain what the Z has in store for you. This music
So I'll have that on there.
This music represents
Okay,
your
I'm
social
going to start
once it's
seeing
been
where everything's
seen.
set in this airplane. I guess I need to get the camera over here where you can watch me, so I'll be right back.
From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, I'm going to start working on some of the placement of some of my items in my fuselage here. Try to get the camera in a spot where it can be seen what I'm doing. I just mounted my switch, okay, and so I've got, and of course I'll do something with my wires here in a little bit, but I want to figure out where everything's going to mount. Now, first of all, here's my little piece that I made for my fuel tank. And what you do is you turn it, and you push it up. That holds the back of the fuel tank. Okay, so I need to figure out.
Are just some of the ways we help you thrive. First Federal, member FDIC.
Let me see, that's not fitting down in there just the way it should.
Brought to you by the Midday Cafe on
See
102.9
why.
The Z.
Okay, I see why. I gotta trim this one little piece of wood off of here to make it fit just right.
Right here on the Ozarks Best Country, 102.9 The Z.
I got one little piece of wood right there past the corner. Go ahead and trim that off.
Chilly, despite a good deal of sunshine. High 38, mostly clear and cold tomorrow night, down to 25. And for Wednesday, mostly cloudy, warmer. A high 48. Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine.
Yeah.
Top out at 51.
Set that down in there.
60s on Friday.
See if it'll sit down where it goes.
Just John Furyk in the Ozarks Best Country.
Oh, okay. I can see what it's doing. It's hitting this little push rod a
Your
little bit.
102.9 The Z radar brought to you by the Midday Cafe. Don't miss the Midday Cafe.
Get a little bit off this corner here.
Every weekday, serving up hot, fresh, and tasty country music for you on your lunch hour. Right here on the Ozarks Best Country, 102.9 The Z.
Weather twice an hour and the Ozarks' best choice for severe weather.
Should make it go in easier too.
The Z.
Okay. And it sits right up against the back of the fuel tank. And there it is. Now I'm going to get my little drill and I'm going to drill a couple holes to mount it down with. And I guess I can just mount it down with a couple servo screws. It's to make my tank to where it's removable. Make sure my tank's pushed all the way up. I would like to have a third one in it here because I want it very secure. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center it on this bar. And then I'll push it up and drill that one. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread a little screw down in each one of those holes here. See what I've got. Probably just servo screws are probably the handiest, and there'll be plenty of hole. Yeah, I've got some other kinds too here that I like. These little guys. see if I got 3 of them. These are like the ones they give you to hold down the little hatches and stuff. That's exactly what I need. Here it is, I got 3 of them. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set this in there and I'm gonna thread those 3 in there, and then I'm gonna back them out and put a little Loctite in the holes. This seems like a lot of trouble, and it really isn't though. But it's mainly to make my fuel tank removable. Had many models that I've had to take my tank out, and
the Ozarks best country.
I've always in the past mounted them permanently, and it was
hey folks, how you doing out there?
a real pain in the butt.
On a Monday. On the way we got
So,
whiskey in my water, Tyler
I'm going to try to make a point not to mount them permanently anymore.
Good man.
And everything I build, I'm going to make them to where I can easily take them out.
Do you have a real good man, or do you not? That's what I want to know.
I'm just going to run these down a little bit. And the only reason I'm using my extension here is for the little magnet to help me hold on to the screws. Okay, I just run them down a little bit. I'm going to back them right back out. And like I've done on everything else, I'll just put a drop of CA in each hole there. And let it harden. And even though this is plywood, it's still very important to do that. Now it's more important when you're into balsa. It's really important. This is too though, because even the ply won't hold the screw threads near as good without CA. Makes a huge difference. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit right on the seam too.
Streak, at least a country mile wide. If you're gonna run with me, it's gonna be a wild ride. When it comes to loving you, I've got velvet hands.
Okay. Now let that cure out for a second. Before I mount that in there, so I'm gonna start trying to figure out some of my mounts. And I'm gonna look in the book and kind of see what they said, where they want you to mount things. And I imagine they're wanting you to mount your battery right up here, which is fine, I still can. The little plate that I made from the back of the tank will be just fine.
I'm too young for growing up just yet. Ain't much I can promise you, except to do the best I can. I'll be damned. I may be a real bad boy, but baby, I'm a real good man. I may be a real bad boy, oh, but baby, I'm a real good man. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I really don't see anything in here that gives you any idea where to put the battery or the receiver. A lot of times they don't, and that's fine. Well, they're saying that you can put the they're saying you can put one battery up front right underneath the motor mount. Which really makes me think that they think you're going to need a ton of weight in the nose of this airplane with a regular engine. So that's probably the case.
This hour of music brought to you by Ben Eddings Cadillac Buick and GMC dealer in Harrison, Arkansas.
But I can mount my battery right here in back of the fuel tank and get it as far forward as I can, and then I can just go ahead and weight my plane a little bit to make it work. I do have a real heavy 4.8 battery that I ordered. I've been running my planes at 6 volt, which I really don't have to. 4.8's fine, and I've got this big battery here, which will work great if I need some weight in one of my planes. Which I can replace this little switch with one that has a charge lead. I've also got another pack that I use for a bench battery that's a really good pack. Yeah, I really just don't have any way of knowing yet until I get some stuff tied down and see how my balance is. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see if this is... No, that hasn't quite dried yet. Let's see. It's going to be just a minute before that's dry. I could start working. Let me just take a second and I'll look at the cowling and see what I might need to do on it, and I'll be right back. Okay, waiting for the CA to dry where I'm going to mount my little backup for my fuel tank, and I've fit the cowl on several times and looked very closely to see where things are hitting. Right here, the linkage is hitting right there. So I'm going to have to grind out a little opening there. It won't be bad. And then I've got my muffler is actually coming out about right here. But as I said before, you have to have a place for your air to escape. So I'll probably cut one here. And it slides back on a ways. I don't know if I need one there or not. I may. But I'm starting to mark it. I'm setting it back and forth on there and looking it over, seeing what I think I need. Would you go with me? I went over this in some of my other videos. Be real careful, take your time, try to figure out something suitable. Would you hold on to me tighter? It's real easy. Well, no matter how hard you try, you won't do a perfect job on your cow. It's that hard to do a real good job. So I try to fit it. I try to start off small and then get larger in size as I go. I will also have a spot here for my to hook to my glow plug, because this is a glow engine, and I will also have a spot here so I can tune my engine. I'll have to get a longer piece of wire to extend that out, which I have. But I'm going to wait until I get those. So I get that back further on the engine so I can really see what I need there. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on these. I'm going to get my Dremel out and put my little plastic cutting wheel back on it. I've got the metal one on there. The plastic cutting wheel is actually a little thinner. It does a better job. I've got the metal cutting wheel on it, which you can use. You could use it if you had to, but the plastic cutting one is just a little bit thinner and works better. Would you go with me if we rode the clouds together? Could you not look down forever? I've got several other different kinds of cutting wheels. go on different heads. It would probably work very well also. These have the little snap coupler, which is really, really handy. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the cow a little bit. Very carefully, small increments. Made several marks here. Now this one here, where I made my mark, it's going to be pretty hard to cut there. I'm going to have to cut sideways twice, and then I'm probably going to have to take something and grind out the corners. So let's see what I can do here, very carefully. Small increments.
I bet you would. 24 degrees outside. 10 till 6 o'clock. Miles Larry in the studio with you on a
I'm actually going to try to
Monday.
do that with a hobby knife, a pretty sharp hobby knife. I'm going to go ahead and cut where I ground those two spots.
They have two
go ahead and make
locations
sure
to
they're
serve
all
you.
the way cut through.
106 West
very
Industrial Park
carefully.
Road in Harrison. Their phone number is
See if I can go along.
870-743-3007. 870
Make a score mark on the fiberglass.
07 or
Do it kind of like the way I cut the
180
wood.
Mall Road Suite.
Just go over it and over it. Now fiberglass is a little harder, but it should cut.
93 417-339-4193. Folks, I just want to tell you, if you are looking for a job and you know it's kind of hard to find one, well, this is a place to do it, and it's PinMac.
I'm actually going to do that with a
Mountain Home Marshall and all places in between.
small drill
PinMac will
bit
place you
in my drill.
in more than just a part-time or temporary job. They place people every day in
a very
full-time
small drill bit.
positions. To apply, just go to
Find one.
pinmac.com and
I'll
click
just pull it
apply
sideways.
online. One application is all it takes to be considered for hundreds of jobs. Hundreds. Yes, I said hundreds of jobs.
A very small drill bit.
You completed your online
I'm gonna
application.
chuck it up into
Stop
my
by
drill.
either of their locations and speak to an experienced staffer. You can be on the job.
And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use it
PinMac
like a
goes the
sheetrock
extra
cutting
mile to
tool.
get you hired. We
Where you
we
just
place people first.
go in and pull it to the side.
They truly value each person that walks through their doors and works hard to meet your
It acts like it is going to work.
needs. PinMac also offers free Word, Excel,
Yeah.
other administrative office
Just
skills.
move it back and forth and pull it to the side.
A great resume. PinMac pays exactly the same wage that the employer would pay
It
for the job.
appears to be doing a pretty good job cutting sideways.
Employees, medical life, dental, and vision insurance employer savings plan. So, also, PinMac is having a job fair right now through Thursday, and we're still open extended hours until 7:30 every day. Lots of great jobs at all levels now.
I think it did a fair
Come
job
see
there.
What's best for you? Yeah.
Go ahead and cut that one aside.
Inside and please cannot beat that. Great time to stop by. Hey, it could be your lucky day. You never know. You could win a great prize and or start a great new career. So that's
my hole up a little bit afterwards.
Harrison and Hollister. The phone numbers again in Harrison 870-743-3007 and 870-743-3007 in Hollister. The phone number is 417.
Looks like it did a pretty decent job.
4193.
Now I'm going to go ahead and cut
9
my bottom piece.
93. That is
And I
PinMac.
see
They are the sponsor of your drive.
closer inspection that it's just a little bit, my line is just a little bit crooked there, so I'm going to go ahead and straighten it out.
Country, 1029 The Z.
This is Rob McBee, production manager for 1029 The Z. I work closely with our clients to produce effective advertising for their businesses.
I'm gonna go ahead and
For
cut
years
it out.
now, I've witnessed how powerful that can be when the proper effort is put into the campaign, together with the right efforts in the business itself. The results are surprising. Do yourself at 870-741-2301 today. The sooner we get started, the sooner your success begins.
Weight management. This is Linda.
actually decided to make a hair smaller hole, so I'm going to go ahead and mark this in a little bit.
Savings only happens once a year, so call now to
I'm
start.
going to start out a little smaller.
There are no prepackaged meals, no dangerous drugs.
I'll probably have to go out to that size, but I'm going to try to get by with a little smaller if I
You
can.
lose 20, 50, even 100 pounds. Your success story starts with a call to professional weight management and our Buy 5, Get 5 special. 417-348-1118 is our number in Branson, 348-1118. When you're ready, we'll be waiting for your call.
Want to get it all? Then get CenturyLink high-speed internet. With
I'm going to try to get by with that. May have to recut it. We'll see.
And it's just $19.95 a month when you bundle with unlimited nationwide calling. That's getting it all. So call CenturyLink for fast to get up to 10 megabits. Services not Start your day with that right here on the Ozarks Country 102.9 The Z. Cloudy and very tonight, the lowdown is tomorrow, chilly. For Wednesday, mostly cloudy, warmer. A high 48 Thursday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. 61 will be back in the 60s on Friday. I'm out there with meteorologist John Field. Ozarks Best Country 102.9 The Z.
Radar service of 102.9 The Z.com, where you can stream the Ozarks Best Country anywhere in the world. Tell your family, tell your friends. Your favorite station is now streaming online. Go to 102.9thez.com and stream the Ozarks Best Country 102.9 The Z. And the Ozarks Best Choice for weather coverage 102.9 The Z.
Okay, there that is. I'm going to keep that larger piece, so I always hold on to them. And of course, I've got a fair amount more cutting to do, but I'm going to go ahead and slide it up on there just for the fun of it, see what it looks like. I will have some more cutting to do, and I'll probably have to just get that bottom hole out a little larger. See how it's coming along here. And like I said, it is distorted a little bit from being in the box, but it will come out of that real quickly. And when I start mounting it here, I'll go ahead, and when I actually start getting ready to mount it, I'll probably go ahead and try to heat it up a little bit and stuff. Okay, that one needs to go back a little more. Very small amount, actually. Let's see if I can do that real quick. This one just needs to go back just a little bit. There it is. I'll go ahead and get the rest of it with my razor knife and blade. Got just a little bit there. A little bit too. This is just to clear the throttle linkage piece. I won't show that much. Little oddball spots to make clearance here and there are really not unusual. And if you don't make that spot and it rubs up against the inside of it, the vibration from the airplane will make a hole anyway. And it really doesn't show much, a little hole here and there to clear stuff if you do a decent job cutting.
Some days it's tough just getting up. Throwing on these boots and making that climb.
Okay, yeah.
Some days I'd rather be no show.
Getting awful close.
Go out of my mind. But when she says, baby,
okay, I need to take a little bit off the bottom. No problem.
like running my fist through the wall.
Okay, that's not bad. See how it fits? Kind of hard to press all this up with it warped. It's gonna have to take some time and fit it around your edges. Now, let me back out where you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's about as far as I can get. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I see several spots on that front that I could iron my covering.